Spawn is officially back, and this isn't just some run-of-the-mill comic book movie. This is a total reinvention, a chance to bring one of the darkest, most uncompromising characters in comics to life in a way that could actually shake up the entire genre. We're not talking about another Marvel DC formula here. This is the kind of story that leans into the gritty, the mature, the morally complicated, and honestly, it's about time. The average comic book fan today isn't a kid anymore. They're in their mid-20s now, and their tastes have evolved. They want layered characters, high stakes, and stories that don't shy away from darkness. That's exactly what the Spawn movie is promising. At the heart of this movie is Todd McFarlane's original vision. Spawn comics were never just about punching bad guys or saving the world. They were about the eternal struggle between heaven and hell, the corruption of power, the fragile nature of humanity, and the crushing cost of redemption. Al Simmons isn't a typical protagonist. He's an anti-hero through and through, scarred by betrayal, death, and endless battles for his own soul. That's what makes this story so unique. It challenges the idea that heroes have to be perfect. Spawn is messy, tormented, and utterly human in his flaws, which is exactly why fans love him. Blumhouse Studios is handling the project, which might surprise some people since they're usually associated with horror. But think about it, Blumhouse has redefined modern horror over the last decade. Jason Blum has been talking about expanding beyond micro-budget scares into bigger, fan-driven properties. After the success of Five Nights at Freddy's, which proved that audiences will flock to dark, beloved IPs if done right, Spawn is the next logical step, and the talent involved makes it even more exciting. Matt Mixon, Malcolm Spellman, and Scott Silver all worked on the script. That's a lineup that signals we're getting something serious, not just another fun superhero flick. McFarlane himself is on board as a creative producer, keeping the story faithful to the comics while helping guide this bold vision. The film was originally just Spawn, but the official title is now Spawn, a nod to the comic arc where Al Simmons evolves from just another pawn in the cosmic chess game into something much bigger. In that storyline, he survives countless betrayals and battles, finding himself in the middle of an epic war between heaven and hell. But unlike before, he's not just a player, he's a potential king, forced to decide whether he stays a servant in someone else's game, or takes control and leads a new generation of spawns. That arc is massive in scope and symbolism. It's not just angels and demons fighting, it's about Simmons discovering his place in the cosmic order, cults trying to open the gates of hell, unseen forces manipulating events, and one haunting question driving the narrative: can a man cursed for eternity actually lead? That's the energy this film seems to be channeling. From everything we've seen so far, this isn't going to be about big, flashy CGI or endless set pieces. Spawn is leaning into the philosophical and tragic core of the story. McFarlane has always said that Spawn isn't about saving the world, it's about surviving in it, holding on to whatever scraps of humanity you can, and fighting for your soul every step of the way. That's what makes this adaptation feel different. It's shaping up as a dark superhero drama, a mix of horror, noir, and supernatural action, wrapped around heavy moral questions. Think Joker, but more mystical, more supernatural, and even darker. And judging by the latest script drafts from Silver, Spellman, and Mixon, which Blumhouse actually teased online with the title page, the film is already deep into pre-production. Concept art is being drawn, budgets are getting finalized, and early shooting plans are underway. This isn't just a rumor anymore. Spawn is coming, and it's aiming to be something truly cinematic. Spawn is still a gamble. He's a cult icon, sure, but he's never really been a household name. Thanks to the 90s comics and a resurgence from things like Mortal Kombat, he's had his moments, but the average moviegoer still thinks of him as a niche anti-hero, not Batman or Spider-Man, and honestly, that's part of the appeal. Spawn isn't tied to a single genre. He could thrive in dark fantasy, horror-tinged war epics, gritty military stories, or even psychological thrillers. You could do straight-up superhero action, but honestly, that feels like the least interesting angle for a character this scarred. HBO's animated Spawn series proved this perfectly. Al Simmons wasn't just a fighter, he was a broken man who'd lost everything. That raw emotional weight is what gave the character his power, and it's exactly what fans are hoping this film will capture. Everything we've seen points to the movie embracing that same dark, heavy tone. Blumhouse has never shied away from taking risks, and Todd McFarlane has said multiple times that this one's aiming for a hard R. That's a smart move. Logan and Joker showed that audiences don't run from R-rated comic adaptations, they embrace them. It's no longer a limitation, it's a badge of distinction, a way to separate this from the endless parade of safe, PG-13 superhero flicks. Blumhouse itself has grown. The studio started with micro-budget horror that could explode explode if it hit, but now it's chasing bigger, riskier stories with serious production value. Spawn fits that vision perfectly. It's mature, grounded, and packed with mythological weight, which makes it ideal for a big cinematic treatment. One of the biggest debates among fans is whether the film will bother with Spawn's classic origin story or just skip ahead like so many modern superhero movies. Lately, Hollywood has been cutting origins to dive straight into action, but with Spawn, that could be a fatal mistake. Al Simmons' story is the core of who he is. He was a loyal soldier betrayed by his own people, murdered, sent to hell, and transformed through a deal with Malebolgia. That tragic rebirth is the emotional anchor of the entire character. If the movie skips that, you lose the heart of Spawn. The first 10 or 15 minutes absolutely need to show his fall from grace, or the audience won't feel the full weight of his journey. Casting makes this even more interesting. Jamie Foxx has been attached for almost a decade, first announced back in 2015. He's expressed multiple times how much he wants to play Spawn, and it's easy to see why. Foxx has the intensity and presence to carry this role, but the project has gone through countless rewrites and creative resets, so nothing is guaranteed. There's a real chance Blumhouse and McFarlane could decide to start fresh with someone new. Right now, Foxx returning feels like a 50-50 shot, which keeps fans on edge. And honestly, things can still change in major ways. The script is now in fresh hands, and the movie is being built as a major studio event, a potential franchise starter. That's why no one's locking in casting or even a director yet. What we do know is Blumhouse sees King Spawn as a big tentpole project, not a small experiment. McFarlane has even said the studio is looking for an A-list, battle-tested director, not some rookie trying something experimental. That alone shows the seriousness of this effort. From day one, King Spawn is being designed to play on a global stage. Story-wise, if they follow the King Spawn comic arc, the film will probably start grounded, gritty, and personal, almost like a military revenge thriller. But then it'll expand into something cosmic, showing Al Simmons caught in an eternal war between heaven and hell. This is where Spawn is at his best, a mix of horror, war drama, and mythological epic. The story isn't just about angels and demons clashing, it's about Simmons discovering what his humanity is worth when everything else has been stripped away. That's the emotional core that can make this movie more than just another comic book adaptation. It could make it a dark, unforgettable journey. There's a lot of room for the plot to explore themes like guilt, identity, and redemption. The ideal setup would follow Simmons returning to Earth, disfigured and lost, trying to reconnect with the world that moved on without him, especially his wife, Wanda, who's since remarried. Those quiet, human moments are what make Spawn's darkness hit harder. If the movie balances that emotional side with intense supernatural action, it could easily become one of the most unique comic book films ever made. On top of that, the story has plenty of room for some seriously memorable villains. Malebolgia, the Lord of Hell, who originally twisted Simmons into Spawn, will likely play a major role, but the comics hint at a much broader hierarchy of infernal adversaries. Think cults trying to open Hell's gates, rogue angels with their own agendas, and other fallen spawns who challenge Al for dominance. There's also room for human villains, gangs, corrupt military figures, and corporate puppets, who could serve as mirrors to the moral decay in Spawn's world. The contrast between earthly threats and cosmic horrors could give the movie an epic scope without losing the grounded, gritty edge that fans crave. The supernatural action could get incredibly creative too. Imagine scenes where Spawn navigates a cityscape that's half reality, half demonic overlay, shadows alive with threats, and hellish energy-bending physics around him. There's potential for moments of pure horror, unspeakable creatures, grotesque visions, and morally complex choices where there's no clear right answer. At the same time, the story could explore Simmons' internal struggle. Can he ever reclaim his humanity while being a weapon forged in hell? That inner conflict, paired with explosive set pieces and high-stakes battles, could make King Spawn not just a comic book movie, but a dark, mythic thriller that feels like nothing else on the screen today. Right now, the project seems to be in the concept art and early prep stage. Next up, we'll be finalizing the cast, signing a director, and moving into production. Blumhouse is known for moving fast once things click. Projects can sit in development forever and then suddenly get funded, scheduled, and rolling within months. So there's a real chance King Spawn could follow that same path. If everything goes according to plan and there aren't any big setbacks, the movie could realistically hit theaters around late 2027. That's just an estimate for now, but judging by how much momentum the project has and how serious the creative team sounds this time, it finally feels like Spawn might escape development hell and actually make his long-awaited return to the big screen.